Hello, friends. It's great to reconnect with you all. Today, I've got quite a tale to share how the local HOA turned my farm into an impromptu wedding venue. My good buddy, whom I'll call Tra-VYS, in VY me to unwind at his rural retreat after I'd wrapped up an exhausting work project. I was drained from non-stop Zoom meetings, needy clients, and the relentless pace of city life. The second my tires hit those quiet country roads, lined with grazing fields and gentle hills, a weight lifted off me. For the first time, I felt truly in tune with nature. Waking up to roosters crowing made me feel alive in a way I hadn't before. By the time I left Tra-VYS's place, I was dead set on SAVYing up for my own farm someday. My city colleagues might have found it odd, but for me, it felt like the most natural decision in the world. Years later, I finally bought my own slice of heaven, a slightly weathered two-story farmhouse on 80 acres of fields and woods. The roof was leaky, the barn was half crumbling, and the walls were plastered with the wildest floral wallpaper imaginable. Still, I saw its potential. I poured months into fixing it up, working from dawn to dusk on weekends and sneaking in weekday evenings when I could. The silence was a balm, and the hard work felt rewarding, building something that was mine alone, free from city landlords or nosy building managers. This was where I wanted to be, even if it took time to make it perfect. Though my farm was fairly remote, I soon discovered it wasn't free from oversight. A small homeowners association lingered in the area, not as big as the ones in suburbia, but just as irritating. When I moved in, a neighbor named Hank dropped by with a loaf of bread and some advice. He explained that a group of locals had formed an HOA years back when a developer built some farmhouse-style homes nearby. Over time, it had stretched its reach to older properties like mine, even without everyone's agreement. Hank warned me to watch out for a guy I'll call Victor, the HOA's self-appointed kingpin. I figured I'd give them the benefit of the doubt. Surely, not all HOAs were petty tyrants. Plus, my farm was older and bigger than most properties they managed, so I hoped they'd leave me be. That hope didn't last long. Within 3 months, a formal-looking letter landed in my mailbox, sporting the HOA's acronym in bold cursive. It demanded I repaint my fence a neutral shade and swap my mailbox for their approved design. I was baffled. My property had rugged wire fencing for livestock, not some suburban picket fence, and my mailbox was a standard rural one. I ignored it, assuming it was a mix-up. But more letters followed, each nastier than the last. They fined me for debris, a pile of mulch for my garden, unapproved decorations, vintage metal sculptures I'd snagged at a flea market, and not seeking permission for events despite my only gathering being a small barbecue with a handful of friends. The letters reeked of Victor, the control freak Hank had mentioned. Word was, Victor lived in a pricey modern house but played the rural purist card to fit in. Rumor had it he dreamed of turning our area into a gated community, absurd for farmland, and flaunted supposed ties to the county courthouse. I tried reasoning with them, writing back that my historic farm shouldn't fall under their rules, given its age and agricultural use. No reply. I let it slide, too busy with renovations to pick a fight. Months passed, and I tuned out the HOA drama until I took a much-needed vacation. My girlfriend, Lena, and I planned a 2-week RV trip to national parks, hiking and fishing our way across the country. Tra-VYS and Hank promised to check on my place while I was gone. I locked everything tight, expecting maybe a storm to be my biggest headache. I couldn't have been more wrong. While I was away, Victor and his HOA cronies hatched a wild plan. His daughter's wedding venue fell through, and instead of finding a legit replacement, he decided my farm scenic, spacious, and free if he ignored my consent was perfect. He likely figured I, as an unwilling HOA member, wouldn't mind. The wedding was a full-blown affair. Tents on my lawn, canopies in my cattle field, cars clogging my driveway and road, catering vans, and a floral arch plopped in front of my porch. My flower pots were rearranged for their VYB. I found out mid-vacation when Hank called, fuming but trying to keep it together. "Did you okay a wedding on your land?" he asked. I thought he was kidding until he described the crowds, decorations, and blaring music. Cars lined my orchard, and people ignored my no trespassing signs. The ceremony was already underway, complete with a minister under that gaudy arch. I was furious. Lena overheard and started Googling the local sheriff's number. Hank and I agreed to call the cops. I dialed, explaining calmly, I own the farm at this address. I'm out of town, but there's an unauthorized wedding on my property. I suspect it's the HOA. I want them gone. The dispatcher sounded floored but promised to send officers. Hank and Tra-VYS raced over to document the scene. Tra-VYS later said it was unreal guests in tuxes and gowns sipping champagne, a buffet in a tent by my barn, kids fiddling with my barn locks. Victor strutted around like he owned the place. The police arrived multiple cars, given the crowd size. The ceremony had wrapped, and the reception was kicking off. Victor tried brushing them off, claiming he had permission. An officer demanded proof a signed note from Muich he didn't have. They called me to confirm, and I made it crystal clear. No permission, no agreement, get them out. Victor blustered about HOA rights, but the cops shut him down. Private property laws trumped his nonsense. Then his wife jumped in, screeching about her daughter's ruined day and threatening to sue the police. When she shoved an officer, chaos erupted. She was cuffed on the spot. The bride, Victor's daughter, sobbed, apparently clueless about the trespassing. Guests turned on Victor, demanding answers. He doubled down, blocking an officer and earning himself handcuffs too. The wedding collapsed into pandemonium. Guests fled, caterers scrambled, and my yard was left trash chairs, cups, flowers everywhere, tire tracks gouging my fields, my gate wide open. Hank and Tra-VYS sent photos. I was leave VYD. The county prosecutor asked if I'd press charges for trespassing and damage. Absolutely, I said. Victor and his wife faced trespassing and assault charges, bolstered by photos, VY Deos, and guest statements. Both were con VY Ted. Victor got jail time, community ser VYC, and restitution. His wife, a longer sentence for attacking the cop. The judge slammed Victor's fake HOA ownership claims. The HOA disavowed Victor, claiming he acted alone, a flimsy excuse, since his buddies helped plan it. Neighbors apologized, embarrassed by the fiasco. My farm took weeks to recover. Hank and Tra-VYS helped me haul away debris, including that monstrous arch. Restitution covered the landscaping bill for the muddy tire ruts. The HOA went quiet after board members bailed, fearing lawsuits. I considered suing, but settled for peace once Victor paid up. My farm's back to normal now, orchards blooming, barn fixed, cattle grazing. Lena and I took another trip, this time with cameras and better security. The ordeal taught me to heed warnings like Hank's, stand up to bullies, and lean on good friends. My jam business even took off. Folks loved the wedding farm story. Victor's gone, maybe for good. I'm just glad to have my quiet life back. Thanks for listening. See you soon.